I've been teaching math for 17 of my 18 years. When I first got the job at Nagel Middle School in 1999, I was actually hired to be the science teacher on Team 7-2. And that only lasted for 1 year, and then they moved me to math in 8th grade. So I've been teaching 18 years total. This is my 18th year, 17 in math. Actually kind of an interesting story because when I was a sophomore in high school at Anderson, the teacher that I had was named Mrs. G, just retired from Anderson actually, and she had some sort of surgery when I was a sophomore in high school, and they got us a sub for the long-term sub for like 6 or 8 weeks while she was recovering from her surgery, and the sub was a brilliant like mathematician guy, but no one could really understand what he was trying to teach the class as the substitute. So I was pretty good at geometry at that time, so what I did is I would kind of like, for lack of a better term, dumb it down so that the sophomores and juniors in high school could understand it in like kid terms. And I spent basically that 6 weeks kind of like student teaching that class because the substitute was too brilliant for his clientele. And I began to think, hey, this is kind of cool. You know, I think I could do this. And at that time, I was involved in football too. I was kind of thinking I wanted to maybe coach football as well. And so it just kind of all fell into place because if you want to coach football and be a part of high school athletics, the best place to do that is if you're a teacher at a high school or a middle school.
What do you like the most about teaching at Nagel?
I like the students. I think middle school kids are right where I need to be. They're mature enough to be able to do the things that you want them to do, and you're not wiping noses and tying shoes like elementary school teachers do. But it's not high school kids with all the high school attitudes and things like that. And I just think that the middle level kids, the 12, 13, 14-year-olds are perfect for me just because that's the age that I like. And it's kind of funny because when I tell people, you know, out in the community or whatever that I teach middle school, the reaction I always get is, oh, really? Like 13-year-olds? But I just laugh because I've been here for my entire career and I don't really see myself anywhere else.
Tell me about your family.
Sure. We live here in Anderson. My wife and I picked Anderson Township to raise our kids when we got married because I work here and we both grew up here and we felt like this was a great place to be. So we currently have 2 kids, a 5th grader and a 3rd grader at Sherwood Elementary. We live right over by Sherwood. My kids walk to school every day, which is great because that's what I did when I was at Summit when I was a kid. My parents still live in Summit. They live in the house that I grew up in. When we go visit them, my kids think it's funny that like my name's still on the wall. My little growth chart in the basement is still on the wall where they sit. They can see that Dad was this tall when he was 12 years old because it's still the basement that I grew up in. And my wife's parents still live right over off Wolfengal where she grew up. So yeah, this has just always been home for us. And so when we decided to have a family and have kids, this was the only place we wanted to be. And my kids love Sherwood. They think that's the greatest place ever. So they're very happy there and we're very happy.